Welcome to the Cool Fireman Podcast, a virtual firehouse kitchen table with Matt, Adam, Brian, Doug, and Freddie, where they discuss everything that matters in today's fire service. Now let's get to the show.
You're doing really good, kid.
Man, for like 8 o'clock, my hair's on point tonight.
Golly.
Stop printing out web addresses, Grandpa.
That's a good segue.
Unkie's got his glasses on.
Yeah, you like them?
Doug's fresh from vacay. Matt's got on his diversity and inclusion hat. Everything is well.
Yeah. I switched up the sunglasses for these. I mean, they're pretty cool.
I'm tired of getting picked on by you guys. I'm tired of it.
I love it. Hey, what's up, y'all?
On you, Matt.
It is the Cool Fireman Podcast, brought to you by Burn Box and Unkie's Seasoning. And so we are super stoked about that. I love how Adam took his sunglasses off.
Well,
so
I don't think he liked the fact that you said Burn Box first.
Well,
my reading glasses.
It's all good. So we are super stoked to have you here. We are on episode 96. Is that right?
Yep.
96 of the Cool Fireman Podcast. We are so happy that you are here with us. And today's topic is we're going to talk about just flexibility in the firehouse, right? Like, so what does the white shirt mafia give you flexibility on? And we're going to just talk about that. But before we get to that, we always like to do some of our housekeeping. And as always, we like to start out with a moment of silence for anyone that we may have lost this week across the fire service. And so if you have lost someone, or if you're thinking about a brother or sister that you've lost in the past, know that this is dedicated to you. And so if you want to share that with us in the comments or whatever, or dedicate it to somebody, drop that in the comments and we'll be sure to give them a shout out on our next recording. So let's give them 5 to 10. Okay, here we go. Amen.
Well said.
Well said. So yeah, like we said, this episode and every episode is brought to you by the Burn Box, a very cool subscription box by Tom, our brother at FDNY. He's got some really cool things in the subscription. And right before I hit record, I just noticed they dropped this month's recipe shared on their story, and it's Sloppy Joe stuffed bell peppers by yours truly. And so in every month we include a different recipe in it, along with different tools of the trade. And so, yeah, I was lucky enough to break bread in the firehouse today as a chief officer. And there was a guy in there who could not cook at all. He self-proclaimed it. He's like, I am washing the dishes every time, chief. So I don't cook. And but man, we had some pork tacos that were amazing. I sent y'all a picture of that. So either way, so whether if you're looking for a tool or looking for a recipe or a training bit, check out Tom at the Burn Box.
You got to have the Sloppy Joe with the bell peppers in October so you can cut a little jack-o'-lantern out of the bell pepper.
Jack-o'-lantern face. So yes, please go give it a try. But you know what goes really good with a Sloppy Joe? The Salty Fireman. The Salty Fireman mix, as well as some of that buttery rosemary, a.k.a. the Fire Marshal blend. So go get them from our other sponsor, our boy Unkie, who's on the podcast.
The Salty Fireman.
Dude, that
Hickory
was
smoke salt.
That was oh yeah.
Bring the smoker inside your house with that hickory smoke salt.
It is good.
Oh yeah, man. Replace your table salt with that.
It is so good.
Just that.
You and I were talking about that, and I don't want to go on about this too much, but so many people were talking about how they put that on the stuff that they then put on the smoker. And it's like, hey, if you want to do that, go right ahead. But this is intended to be that thing that you go grab in the cabinet when you're in a hurry and you want to give it that smoky flavor and kind of just roll on, right? But
we did put it on a Boston butt we cooked the other day.
How was it?
It was good. It's good on popcorn too, believe it or not.
Not. Every seasoning is good
because
on popcorn.
My fire station has a popcorn machine.
Oh, bougie.
Yeah.
So yeah,
$100 well spent right there.
So that is a perfect segue into this month's or this week's episode, which is this is talking about flexibility in the firehouse. So, Doug, you guys are allowed to have a popcorn machine, right?
Yeah.
And so many firehouses are structure driven, right? Where you can only have this, you can't have that. All these things are done. And what I really wanted to do was, and what my mind kind of went to back to was the All Fire Trucks Are Red episode, right? Where we talked about how, you can only have red fire trucks. You can't get away from that. And so I wanted us to have a conversation about across the spectrum, whether it's Virginia, California, DOD, or public service, is what kind of mobility and flexibility do chief officers give you guys to have in your firehouse? So whether that's popcorn machines, station company patches or logos, or anything like that. So I'm just going to throw it out there and let's just talk about it. What other things do you guys get to do besides a popcorn machine? Ready? Break. Let's go.
If you're not allowed to have a popcorn machine in your firehouse, oh boy, that's rough.
Find a new firehouse.
That is rough. The first thing that comes to my mind, Brian, is culture. I think that it doesn't matter if it's on the West Coast or the East Coast, or if you're protecting the wall up in the North, with Freddie. But I think it could be my department is different than the department that's 1 mile away. And it's just a cultural thing. There's a lot of departments out there that are very policy driven. And it's like, we have a policy that states you do this and you shall do that. I have to say my department does a pretty gosh darn good job at making sure the guys are happy. And that's just like, compromise. There's another C word, compromise. We have a little bit of a compromise culture, if you will. Different chiefs have different theories and different expectations. And that's kind of well known that if you're going to be around that chief, I'm not going to give you a specific example, but if someone brings one up, I can maybe chime in, but they do a pretty gosh darn good job. And I think that if you can compromise between what you like to call the white shirt mafia, Brian, and the boots on the flow, I think that you're going to do a good job. And the only reason I say that is, we talk about leadership a lot, Brian. And we had the best job in the world. So when I come into work, I'm like, I got the best job in the world. And now why is that? It's because we do have a little bit of flexibility. We have to multitask. Like every call is different. We have a good schedule. We get paid pretty well. It's like we got good benefits. We take care of our family. There's a lot that goes into it, but a lot of it is the day-to-day stuff around the firehouse. And as a captain or as a supervisor for me, I like to quote Jimmy Buffett a lot. It's actually saved my ass many times. When I start to get throttled up because of some BS-ery, I just think to myself, Jimmy Buffett said, don't sweat the small stuff. Don't sweat the small stuff. And then you know what the next bullet point was? It's all small stuff. So that has saved me so many times. And not only, but I've told that to my guys. And they go, hey, shoot, do we need to bring our shirt because we're going to be training past 10 o'clock? And do we need to have our cover on? I go, we're not sweating the small stuff, dude. We're going to go out. We're going to train from 9 to 10, 10:30. We're going to come back. We're going to be all sweaty. We don't need to put our cover on just because it's after 10 o'clock. And all my chiefs would be like, I got your back, dude. We understand. You go out to train at 8 o'clock, you get a call, you come back to training. It could be past 10 o'clock. Don't sweat the small stuff, man. Now, what's small and what's not? That's very subjective. And so you just got to play, you know what I mean? I got 14 more years left. Like if I start sweating some of this stuff, it's like, I'm not going to make it. I'm going to have another heart attack for Lord's sake. So that's the way I kind of come in.
Sorry, I just want to interject right here because according to the world, Matt's the fittest person on the show, and he's the only one that's had a heart attack and almost died because you only live twice, right, Matt?
Hey, Yolt, that's my other motto. Not only do I not sweat the small stuff, but I only live twice because I almost died.
You almost died. I mean, you did die.
I do a lot of cardio. I didn't actually die. My heart did not stop.
Still.
But you know why? Because I do a lot of cardio and I'm in such good shape.
Yeah.
So but did you die? But there's that. But did you die?
Mr. Chow, but did you die?
So I love that, Matt, and I think it's a good segue or a good just conversation piece.
Your word of the year should have been segue.
It should have been. It should have been. And Matt tells me,
Brian, I laughed when you said that the first time because we recorded before this for episode 97, and it was brought up that, as Brian would say, we're going to segue. And it's
there you go.
You weren't even there, and then you chime in, and the first thing out of your mouth is, we're going to segue. And now you said it twice in 10 and a half minutes.
There you go. You like that? I did a little pivot.
Yeah.
So what I was getting to is, and I love what Matt said was, let's go back and say, so when is it too much, right? When is too much leeway, or when are the small things become big things? And when do we say enough's enough, right? Like I'm with you. I don't worry about, and you've heard me say it a couple times, why have something in policy at all if it really doesn't matter, right? Like, because the policy are the things that we should make sure that everyone knows. Those are the things that we should have kind of spelled out, right? Your company officer should know it's that important. And if not, why is it written down? You gotta refresh it. You gotta know it. You gotta revise it. And it's like, and I'm not saying revising is a bad thing or revisiting it, but if it's not that important, why is it even there to begin with?
Yep. Yeah.
So where is that line, right? Or is it situationally dependent upon what we're talking about, right?
I'll tell you why it's there, because there's one person that was a habitual line stepper, and then he or she became a policy. Because how many policies do you have in your gosh darn book that have a name on it?
Somebody's name is attached to informally.
Yeah. And dude, firemen are no different than any other crazy, stupid business or organization out there. They all got the habitual line steppers. They all got the class clowns. They all got the guy that just sits over in the corner and stares at the wall all day. It just is what it is, right? But I mean, I think firemen maybe take it a little bit to the next level just because we're more, I don't know.
Frequency, risk, probability, right? And cost. Everything we do in the fire service is that. So how often does that happen? What's the risk to us? What's the probability that it will happen again? And what's the cost to do that policy, write it again, enforce the policy, right? So if somebody does something one time and it's one time off, is there a catch-all that thing can go into? Is it a conduct unbecoming? Yeah. Is it something else?
That's
right?
Exactly what I was going to say. Conduct unbecoming.
Right. So why are we going? Yeah, you can.
We're not allowed to say conduct unbecoming on this podcast anymore.
That's fair.
Well,
fair.
So
screw that guy.
Yeah, well, and I don't want to go too far off of the topic, but what I want to do is remember when we went back a couple of episodes ago and we talked about the little things and how much they matter and giving clarity. I think it goes back to that's what this is about. That's the reason why I wanted to kind of dive back in deeper to this to say, you know, if the crew wants to put up and create a Station Pride logo, is it okay? Because the chief officers have to worry about brand standards and font themes and all this other stuff from up above. And so they're caught in this mid-level management between city and county government and the rank and file who's like, I don't see why it's such a big deal. And then the ones above them go, I don't see why it's such a big deal. And they're compressed in the middle going, it's a big deal to both, right? And I'm just trying to satisfy everybody here. And so it goes back to whether it's we like red fire trucks or we don't, or I want this really cool station logo and I want to plaster it everywhere. It's not about the popcorn machine. It's about identity. It's about pride. It's about all these different things. And it goes, where is the line, right? And where are we ever going to be satisfied, either as chief officers or as firefighters, rank and file, to say, we're good? And can we do that? Can we do that as crews and as chief officers? Goes back to what Matt said. Can we compromise somewhere and say, hey, we're satisfied. This is good enough.
Can I piggyback off that?
Yeah.
You can segue to it.
Apparently there's, I'm going to segue. No, this is more of a piggyback. So apparently there's firemen out there that do whatever the hell they want. Right.
Especially when the chief's not around.
We work in that environment. Maybe we don't. Probably not, because I just don't. That doesn't fancy my. That doesn't suit me. My
That doesn't
suit.
fancy your curtsy.
So my piggyback is what you said, Brian. When is it enough? Okay. So in my department, man, my chief's going to hate me for bringing this up. He hates it. He's already brought it up because I brought it up during the Why Are Fire Engines Red episode. And we talk about t-shirts. Like right now in our department, t-shirts, station pride t-shirts have become this real, and any duty shirts, to be honest. We're small, Doug, so it's a little bit different. And so everybody's like, I want to wear this shirt. I want to create this shirt. And so the chief is like, absolutely, let's do it. But let's bring it to us. We'll approve it. And then we'll say, hey, this is what we can wear. This is what we can't. So I guess my question is to these younger guys that this new culture is kind of coming up, which is fine with me. I'm good. I'm all good with it. Is when is it enough? Like, when is it going to be if one t-shirt gets approved in one hat, and then like maybe a year down the road, well, now I want a second hat or a third hat. And then it just keeps going and going and going. It's like never going to be enough. And so it's like nobody will ever be satisfied at the end of the day. That's what I feel like.
Well, and there's the compromise. So I had a group that came to me about it and said, all right, chief, we want to do this. We want an offset. And here was my stance was we wear a uniform, right? When someone calls 911 and they call a police officer, they have a summer uniform and they usually have a winter uniform, depending on where they're at, right? They're in shorts or they're in longs. But when they come out of that patrol car, every single person looks the same, right? And I get it. When someone calls the fire department, they don't care what they look like, but there is an expectation that we are providing a high level of service. So we should at least all either get out of the truck and look like a bag of trash, or we should all get out and look to the nines, right? But we need to be consistent in what we look like. So for me, what I looked back at them and said was, why don't we empower that company officer? It's his or her house to set the uniform of the day, and they're either going to wear all the station pride shirt, or they're all going to wear the departmental shirt. You're all going to be in shorts, or you're all going to be in pants, right? But at the end of the day, you're going to be uniformed because that's what we are. And we're going to accept a uniform, right? A summer uniform, a winter uniform, whatever. And so we're going to have A, B, C's, and D's. And when we get there, we're going to be in that level of service. And when we're not on an emergency call, these are the times when we're going to wear a B, right? Or this is when we're going to come out in an A, those kinds of things, because that is the public perception. That is the compromise. Like, man, nobody likes wearing those double-breasted, naval admiral suits that we have to wear. But, there's a time, and there's a place for it. And I think that's the give and the take, right? And nobody wants to hear it, right? Because nobody wants to wear it, but nobody wants to hear anybody fuss and complain. So get looking right, get looking sharp, and when it's time to wear it, and just move on, right?
So let me ask you this, because I agree with most of what you said, and one thing that I didn't really like what you said. But let me ask you this. What is a disheveled fireman look like? Now, let's say we're at the station, and it's 11 o'clock in the morning, and we've already done our PT and everything else, whatever, right? It's 11 o'clock in the morning, and we get an EMS call, and we run the call, and we all get out of the fire engine. What does a disheveled fireman look like? Like, what does that look like to you?
To me?
Yeah. Or
Doug,
no, all of you.
No, go, Brian.
Well, I was going to say my expectation is t-shirts tucked in, boots are zipped up if you've got zip up boots, right? Or your shoes are tied in, right? We're not looking squared away. Our shirts don't have rips and stains all over them, right? We've got our pants. They're not ripped. They're not torn up. They're not faded, right? But at the same time, I've also had departments that there are exceptions. There are times that it does look different. And I don't want to go too far off from your question, but we used to go, when I was riding the truck, we would go out and paint hydrants. So you would have hydrants that you would have a pair of old work boots that you would paint your hydrants in. You had paint, red speckled paint, blue paint, green paint, all speckled all over it. You wore your old t-shirt, and guess what? Medical calls would drop. Fires would drop. And so you weren't on your A game, but everybody on the truck looked like that. And so, I mean, the person who you're working the code on, they're not looking at your pants, right?
Yeah.
So I get that, But at the same time, when you go out on that medical call and then you leave from there, you sanitize your hands and then you run by the food line to go pick up your food, you get off the truck looking right. So,
no, I think that's a good answer. Doug, did you have something different?
So we naturally, as public servants, get held to a higher standard. I had one of my first battalion chief, my first battalion chief when I came out of recruit school 11 years ago, whatever it was. My inspection sticker expired on my car, and it was like the third day of the month or something, so it had been expired for like 3 days. She said, Doug, you need to address that immediately. I said, okay, I plan to, but why? What's the big deal? She said, people hold you to a higher standard now. You have union professional firefighter plates. People hold you to a higher standard. So if they see you with your inspection expired, your registration, or whatever, she said, that's a thing. Now, as far as the uniforms go, our procedure says you're supposed to be in duty uniform all the time. Now, each station captain and or company officer, whether it be a lieutenant or a captain, at night, that usually gets relaxed. Guys will put shorts on, and because again, and this is the conflict. This is our house, like we live here. So after dinner at your house right now, Matt, after you have dinner in the evening, you normally put like PJs or shorts or whatever. You put something comfortable on. So a lot of companies
fat pants in our department.
Yeah, I put my fat pants on. Yeah, absolutely. But the issue is when the bell rings and that door goes up, when you get on that unit, are you dressed appropriately? That's all that matters. Okay. Whether it be your bunkers or your station boots. There are some departments in my area. I ain't trying to dime nobody out. I'm not going to dime nobody out. That when I go to the hospital, sometimes I see these guys roll up, their shirts are untucked and their boots are unzipped. What are you doing, bro? Like, what are you doing? And,
I agree.
And that falls down to the company officer to me. If I'm wearing shorts at nighttime and I go on a medical, I'll take my shorts off, put my pants on, put my boots on. My boots are always zipped. My shirt's always tucked in. And I'm in my station uniform when I respond out of the station. Mm-hmm. And my company officer knows that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes if I'm in shorts, if it's an urgent call, I'll just throw my bunker pants on. But my pants and boots are in the unit. I don't leave them at the station because whatever, God forbid you have to take your bunkers off, whatever, you're in shorts. And now you look unprofessional, right? Mm-hmm. But they're on the unit. If it's a priority one call, which is our highest priority, I may just throw my bunkers on over my shorts. And if anybody in the fire service is listening, well, the people in the fire service that are listening, there's nothing better than wearing bunker pants with shorts under it. All right. It's so much better than pants. Chief McKay, I'm talking to you. You need to approve shorts for summer wear. Anyway, enough about that. I would love to wear shorts in the winter or summer, but we can't. It's not in our policy. We wear long pants. We wear a T-shirt. We did get approved to wear T-shirts on duty or instead of our polo shirt, which is issued. It just says Chesterfield Fire and EMS on the back. We can have station shirts made that say Engine 209, Truck 209, Medic 209, whatever you want, as long as it's one of your units. That several years back did get approved for regular, everyday wear. But most of our companies in the county have a station logo of some sort. Most people have stickers and patches made. All of our units that have them and have been, again, they have to be approved by command staff. They're stuck on the units, their little logo. And a lot of people make patches, and we put those. We did get approved to wear those on our job shirt sleeve, so we can get them sewn on our job shirt sleeve. But as far as like you were saying, Matt, having that station logo on a shirt to wear on a call, no, we don't do that. Everybody looks the same. Like Brian said, when you get out of the unit, everybody looks the same, whether it be all turnout gear or all station uniform. There's no in between.
So there's not one guy that gets off the engine and turn out that bunker pants? And
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. You may have, like I said, if it's a priority one call at night, if it's an EMS call, if it's cardiac arrest and I got my shorts on, I'm not wasting that 20 seconds or whatever it takes me to take my pants off and put my shorts off, put my pants on, my boots. I'm putting my bunkers on and getting in the unit because, that's a priority response. So you may have a guy in turnout pants, but it's fire department uniform of sorts, but I still have my pants and boots in the unit. So if something changes and I need to, get out of my bunkers, I can.
Yeah. I guess the point that I was trying to make by asking you that question, Brian, was I don't think a fireman looks or a crew looks disheveled if they show up with a T-shirt on that's tucked in and their boots zipped up and they look professional like that. And I'm telling you, even if they have two different types of shirts on. That's
Well,
I don't think that the logo on the back
some
of
of
a
our
t-shirt.
right, some of our shirts just have Chesterfield Fire and EMS on the back. Some have, like you said, the guys that have them personalized with Truck 209.
Yeah.
But it also says Chesterfield Fire and EMS, but in the middle it's got Truck 209 on it.
Now am I all about getting those t-shirts approved? Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I think that goes through the chief. That's not just, we're not cowboys in that sense.
Well, I think that's what goes back to the compromise, right? Right. So that's the compromise piece, is that I don't mean this in the literal term, but I don't think most listeners would understand the heartburn that most chiefs have to go through in a municipal department or in a county department to get those firehouse logos approved. Right.
So on that note, when I was at Station 20, we had a logo designed and it got rejected for being too aggressive. So they had to punt and went to something a little more conservative because I forget who was the deputy at the time. It might not even got to the deputy, but either way, as it went up the chain, somebody was like, no, that's a little too much. We're not going to do that.
And I guess what I'm trying to say is that that's the compromise, right? The chief officers are saying, hey, look, we get it. We understand wanting to do the station pride. We understand wanting to be able to wear it. However, uniformity, branding, all these things that everyone's at, that's the compromise, right? So, Captain, go into there, say, hey, are we wearing departmental shirts or are we wearing company shirts today? Like, that's the compromise. Like, it's not a big deal, but it's a big deal to somebody else. So just wear it, right? Like, majority of our current firefighters coming on board is like, what's the big deal with our shirt being untucked? The guys working a code doesn't get it, but to you, it's a big deal, right?
It's
and
just
so
unprofessional, man.
No, I got it. For us,
yeah.
But for the firefighters coming in, they don't care, right? So that's our compromise, and that's what I'm saying. So unilaterally, if that's the appropriate word here, we have to understand that there's certain just yeses that we have to do, right? Like as we get there because of just where we're at as an organization. So how many people? I'm gonna throw this one out there to Adam. Adam, are you guys allowed to have company logos in the DoD world?
I can speak for my local department, region. We're allowed to. We design our own station patches. We can wear our patches on our job shirts, and they can be on one of 40 different types of jackets we have. We have our biggest SOP is our clothing.
Uniforms, yeah.
Yeah, uniforms. Because
you guys are like Oregon football.
Dude, we can have the jean jackets with the little corduroy collars, with the white inside, without the insides. There's a 511 jacket that has we're allowed to have anyone from that series. That series is a black jacket, a blue jacket, a neon green jacket, a red jacket. That's just the 4 colors. Then there's 1,000 different degrees of it.
So what? You guys wear different ones?
It does need to be reined in.
You all have to wear the same one?
Anyways. The jackets?
Yeah, you all have to wear the same jacket or the same shirt? I just have to wear,
it's like the 4500 series of 511 jackets. That's what our paperwork says. The series.
It's pretty broad.
So it doesn't matter.
The chiefs, but you go by that red jacket and see the chief will come down on you. But the thing is, he can't do nothing about it.
Right, yeah.
But nobody buys it because we know we can't have. It's stupid to wear that.
Yeah,
that's the compromise.
You're right. Right.
So, but yes, we have patches, and when we negotiated it, all we said was basically in our agreement is the district chief, which is like the battalion for y'all, he approves it. The thing is, we can make it whatever. We can put a naked woman on it. Doesn't mean he's going to approve that for you to have it in your uniform, but that can be your station patch. But that's the whole point of the district chief approving it, to make sure it's not aggressive or has a naked woman. So,
yeah, and the one that we got, I said that was rejected for being too aggressive, was like a Spartan warrior with. I mean, he didn't have a shirt on, obviously, and he just ripped to shreds, and he's got like a battle axe or something, and they're like, "Yeah, it's a little too aggressive." Do
you guys find it that so, Adam? I think I already know the answer to this one for you, but
Okay.
so DOD's not buying any of that stuff. You're buying your own patches and embroidery. You're paying for all that yourself.
Yeah, that's extra.
How about you, Doug?
Yeah, I mean, we get stuff from our resource management division, but we're nowhere near as broad as that. It's pretty straightforward what you're getting from the warehouse as far as uniform issue stuff. Our policy is pretty clear about uniform stuff. It's pretty direct. It's so direct that my West Broad hat that with the patch that says Truck 9 on it is unapproved for duty wear. I had to send it up the chain to get it approved. It's still yet to be approved, but it is in a testing process where they're going to kind of open it up a little more because I think it looks sharp. I think it looks professional, but our standard or our procedure is pretty narrow as to what you can wear on duty. As far as, I mean, even the coats, like you said, Unkie, we have a lot of guys want to wear Carhartt job coats and that kind of stuff, not just job shirts, but like chore coats. And I mean, we're pretty cut and dry about what you can and can't wear on duty.
Yeah. So what about you, Matt? Does the department cover any of the costs, anything like that? Challenge coins, shirts, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I would put challenge coins in a different realm,
Yeah.
but as far as like duty stuff, I mean, from hats to shirts to uniforms to boots, they provide all that for us. Jackets.
I'm talking about the company pride stuff, the ones with the logos and everything.
No, they won't.
So
The department won't. Nor can we even wear those on duty. So we're trying to work through all that right now. That's why when I kind of said it 10, 15 minutes ago, I kind of walking on eggshells only because it kind of they have the uniform committee and those guys were allowed to wear stuff that other guys weren't because they were kind of testing it. It kind of turned into this. It kind of turned into a little convoluted, and so they put out a new policy, but then of course it's just how you perceive that policy. And then there was people wearing what the policy said, and some chiefs were like, well, that's not approved. And it says, well, it's right here. It became this big, huge issue, and it's not really that resolved yet. We're working on it. But you know, for my day-to-day operations with me and my guys is just what I said before. We're not going to sweat the small stuff, but we're also going to look professional. And when we can, and we're in public, we're going to be wearing our Bs. And that's just it. But if we're out training, I mean, there's a lot of things that can hinder those, you know, the being able to wear your Bs or whatever, you know. So it's just
challenge the word professional.
Here's a good example.
You can't have an untucked shirt and still look professional.
Wait, say that again.
So having an untucked shirt is unprofessional.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing
Professional.
PT.
It has nothing to do with the type of your job you do or the service you provide. Is what you wear. As long as you don't clean, no dirty holes and stuff, but being tucked or untucked, because it's up to interpretation to a different person. Because I argue that I like a tucked in shirt. Don't get me wrong, I like it. But like my policy says, we must look professional. It says nothing about tucking my shirt in. They want it tucked in. And we argued it that our inspectors should be allowed to have beards because they don't wear SCBAs. They said that was unprofessional. But having a naked woman tattooed on my arm as a headquarters chief, that's professional. I can have that on. I can have a naked woman on my forearm while meeting with very important people. That's okay.
Adam,
but I can't have an
you're shaking your entire desk right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got my feet up on.
If you
your desk, your camera shaking. The thing is,
I'm a jolly fella.
Spring is boinging.
Everything jiggles.
If Adam walked into an interview and the fire chief looked at him and said, "Mr. McCoy, what does professionalism mean to you?" You know, and then you kind of give him like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna be courteous and all this stuff," and you say, "What about going out in public with your shirt untucked?" What would you say? You're trying to get a job. You're trying to get a job.
As long as I understand. No, but I think that you would say that you do, but what I would say is all about how you handle yourself and you carry yourself.
But I think that you would say, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think you would say I would tuck my shirt.
I like to argue that the untucked shirt is just there's so much other stuff that makes you look unprofessional before.
I agree, but that goes back to what I said
so many
earlier.
office workers on our base, all of them, high up people, none of them have a tucked in shirt. So, but I have to have one, and I'm labor grunt force.
Like I said,
see me.
That goes back to what I said earlier about people hold you to a higher standard, and it is what it is. You know, that's the cross we bear, so to speak. I mean, it's what you signed up for.
It's the same reason when you drive down the street in your fire engine, people wave at you. It's the same reason. People that the reason that is because all the men and women that came from before us and laid that tradition down for the fire service.
And let's not forget, we are still classified as a paramilitaristic organization.
That's true. Yes.
We probably always will be, because you have to have that rigid structure of some sort.
Totally. Yep.
I would agree with that, because I mean, nobody's waving at our maintenance staff in town government, right? Nobody's waving,
waving something.
The water.
They're waving something.
Yeah.
I mean, they may wave at the sanitation guy on the back of the truck. Yeah. Right? They may wave at him because they love it. You're right. Give them the old honk. Hey, honk the horn at me. That kind of thing. But I think that their level, the expectation that they have of them, kind of to Doug's point, is they don't see them in the same light as we do, right? They understand that their job is that. I also would say, to your point, Adam, is there's not an expectation that when we're fighting a fire that our shirts are untucked, right? So if you come out of that fire and you're in a t-shirt and your shirt's untucked and it's sweaty and it's nasty and you got soot all over your face, well, then it's different.
Different scenario.
Right? Different scenario. But when you're going to the grocery store and you see little Timmy and he's looking up at you and you've got your radio strap on and little hot mom sitting there pushing him, and she goes, "Hey, Timmy, wave to firefighter Billy here," and he's like, "Hey," and you're like, "Hey, buddy," you're held to a different standard, right? The mom thinks more of you, the little kid thinks more of you, and that's not directed at you, Adam, but I do think that
I'm just sparking conversation.
Is she a single mom, or what are we talking about?
I mean, I'm just saying, but
should it matter to you, Doug?
Not to me, but I have guys on my shift who are single. So.
But I'm just saying, in general, that is the reason why we're held to a different standard, right? Mm-hmm. To the little old lady who needs help pushing her cart across the parking lot, right? It's too rough, and you say, "Hey, let me help you out with that." She looks at it and goes, "Wow, that guy helped me out, and he squared away. He looks right." It's just. And that's where I think that's the compromise, right? Like, in my mind, as the chief officer, there are little things that are easy wins for everybody, right? When you're coming to town hall and you got the rookie firefighter who needs to finish signing up their paperwork at HR, and the manager or somebody up in administration sees the crew squared away, they hold us to a higher standard, and they're at a high level. Right. Mm-hmm. So they look at him and go, "Wow, those folks they run a tight ship. Hey, Captain Rolfe, your crew looks good today." And so that's what we want. And I know we didn't want to get off on a sidebar about what.
Oh, no, it can just go on, because some people think sleeve tattoos are unprofessional.
Well, and what I wanted to do is look at that and say, it can go everywhere. And what I wanted to do was just to say, that leadership, the compromise, how do we have those conversations in the firehouse about, our station pride and our logo? And when it comes up and say, the new generation is talking to the captain and says, "Hey, why can't we do this, this, and this?" What is our response back, right? Do we have the clarity of saying, "Hey, I know we want to do this, but we've gotten these other things in the past, and I think that we're holding the line right now." Or, like we were talking about it recently at work, and it was a conversation about, sometimes you just got to say no, right? As the chief, you just have to say no. For the good of the organization, we're not doing that. Mm-hmm. And here's why: because of this, and this, right? Yeah. I had a conversation with some crews talking about, ALS response versus BLS response, right? Everybody's like, "Wow, I'd really love to do this, this, and this." And it's like, no, we're busy spending money on fixing fire trucks and everything. but it's also about a long-term vision versus a short-term vision. It's not that we're not going to do it. It's just how long it takes to get there.
We're not going to do it right now.
We're not going to do it right now, right?
And I'm back to my hat, Doug.
Right.
No, right now to no, but we're going to advance it through the process, and we'll eventually work towards that. So right now to no.
I point
I
blank
get
looked
a cowboy hat.
I point blank looked at the youngest firefighter in the room, and I said, "How long before you retire?" He said, 22 years, Chief. I said, "You may see." I said, "You may see it." I said, "I'll pass that baton to the person who goes beyond me, and then you can pass it to the next person, and maybe they'll see it, right, in that amount of time." But for me right now, it's I know in my priority of things that I feel like are achievable for me, and I want to sit here and make sure that you guys have understanding and clarity on what I feel like I can get done. And I think that's part of the struggle with most chiefs is finding the time to sit down and do that and find the compromise, right? Because that's the hard part is I don't know if anybody can do it in a department your size, Doug, or how in Matt, a department your size, how they find the time.
I tell you how you find the time. You promoted company officers for that reason.
Sure.
Let the company officers run their house, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I know where you're going with this, but there are some more lax company officers out there. But at the same time, like I said, when the bell rings and the door goes up and the unit leaves, is everybody squared away in what they need to be doing?
Well, and what I was going to say is you can let them run their house, but they still have to have clarity in the overall,
of course,
mission and vision.
Even down to my level, we're a direct extension of the fire chief. I get that, but that company officer has to foster the environment in the house to where those guys feel comfortable, where they're happy. And again, this is my house. I live here 24 hours at a time. Like this is just like an apartment for me. Like I come here one day, 10 days a month. I come here and I live here. So I have to be comfortable in my house, and they cannot be so paramilitaristic to where I need you in your uniform until you get in your bed.
Right.
All right.
That don't work.
Come on,
that don't
bro.
work.
We ain't doing that.
Good luck.
But go back to the original question. My chiefs are okay with popcorn machines in the station.
I was going to circle back to that.
As long as we clean it and take care of it.
I do daily on it every third day. And and when the summertime gets here, we get a snow cone machine too. So
that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, God bless you and your chief mentality on this podcast, because that last 5-7 minutes was a full chief perspective, and it's good. Mm-hmm. It's really good. And the answer to your question about how's a chief in my organization, the size of my organization, how does he relay those expectations? And that's what it is. At the beginning of the year, we have expectations, we have captain's meetings. And not only that, but our chief will come and have brunch with us every once in a while. And we've talked about this before. And this 100% welcomed. If they call me and they go, "Hey, what are you guys doing for brunch?" "Yeah, we got an extra seat. Come on down." Or, "Hey, we're going to be out training until 11. So we're going to be doing lunch today." Whatever. That's totally welcomed. And that's how you create that bridge between, me and you, or Doug and you. But at the end of the day, I mean, come to work, have fun. We all love what we do for a reason. It's the best job in the world. Don't
take the fun out of the firehouse.
No, God, we can't.
But we've said this many times, that don't take the fun too far. Yeah. Don't make the company officer be the company officer. You know what I mean?
Right. And boy, has that goalpost gotten closer.
Yes, it has.
By a long shot.
Let me just say this. I was going to hold off on this, but let me just say this. Don't go messaging people's unions about bullshit. Yeah. If you say ignorant shit online and somebody says, "Hey man, you said something ignorant. Does your chief know you talk like that on the internet?" That doesn't mean anybody's calling no chief. There was no chiefs called. Nobody called anybody's chief. However, I got called a snitch a bunch of times. And conversely, one of those people messaged my union. So who's really the damn snitch?
Yeah. Well, and for the people that don't know what we're talking about, we were going to stay away from this topic. But...
Oh, we were, but you know what I mean, bro.
I know. No, for a good reason. And I had a conversation.
You don't come on my platform and be homophobic, sexist,
fat
like
shaming.
that's fat shaming. That shit's not flying here.
Right.
So
and then
because I ask you, does your chief know you say gay online in reference to other people?
Well,
that doesn't mean I'm calling you chief. Right. Nobody called your chief, bro. Nobody talked to your chief.
And dude, it's all because it's just like texting. Have you seen the Key and Peele skit where they're texting back and forth, and one of them thinks that they're talking really like fun and bubbly, and the other one's like, "What did you just say?" I mean, it's because
serious. Yeah.
It's lost in translation.
Context is so important, right? Body language. I ended up having a conversation. So what we're talking about is one of our posts kind of went sideways on Instagram. And they started calling us names and completely it had nothing to do with what the content was actually related to. And Doug started, calling them out, and it went sideways. And we're not going to tell you who it is because we don't want to give them any notoriety. All we really got from it was a big boost. Since then, we've gained about 50 to 60 listeners just on Spotify alone. And our Instagram has gone up double. So thank you to those individuals.
But
at the same time,
like-minded people who didn't want to speak out like I did to us.
Yeah. So
because,
we'll take a second.
Again, you're not going to do that stuff on our platform that all of us have access to and it not go unchecked.
Yeah.
So, but I just wanted to be clear that 2 people messaged my union.
Yeah.
Because I called them out and said, "Do you know your chief talks like this online?"
Mm-hmm. Because of what they said.
I didn't contact anybody, but 2 people contacted my union after calling me snitches.
Right.
Anonymously.
Because I called them out and basically said, "Wake up. What are you doing? You shouldn't talk like this online. You shouldn't talk like this, period, much less online. You are a professional fireman. Why are you acting this way on the internet?"
And that's the thing, Doug. If we were at the St. Patty's Day parade in New York and we all had a beer in our hand, there's no chance that any of us would speak that way to each other to their face. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. That was my point. Like, you say this stuff online, I guarantee you wouldn't drive to 8001 Buford Court where my fire station is and come say that to my face.
And if they
don't be a jackass online, dude. Be a better person.
Doug, listen, if they did say that, which this is the fire service, we gig each other, there would be context behind their words. If they want to call you a fatty, whatever they want to call you, it's in context of like, yeah, you should probably work out, kid. And you're like, oh yeah, F off, dude. Let's go drink another beer, right? It's that context, not just these petty trolls that sit on their phone while they're taking a shit and they start calling people fat and gay and derogatory terms, right? So anyway, we don't want to spend too much time, but I think that it's not a bad thing to point it out that we're not going to take that shit. And that's what Doug said on your PSA is, if you want to start spouting off and say all these nasty, gnarly things, we're just going to block you. Oh, but don't we have freedom of speech? No, you don't have freedom of speech to come on and just be total assholes to us. We don't need to take it. I block,
or our guest, which they did too.
Yes.
Are we okay with differing opinions? 100%. But when you come on and be nasty and derogatory, pound sand.
Well, I'm going to get all the hate because I said untucked shirts and tattoos. I brought that up.
And guys, we're like this big, right? I just listened to Cameron Haynes' book, Endure. Amazing book. I know I'm the reader, right? But I drove to and from Arizona, so I had time. And he actually recognizes that in his book, that the amount of haters that are against bow hunting and what they say about me, I just block them. That's what he said. He goes, I just block them. Like they have nothing they have nothing good to add to the conversation. So beat it.
So that's what I did. I went on a block party, and again, it did nothing but drive more like-minded people to us who don't speak up online and support us because they don't want to get involved in the drama. No. I don't mind it. I told y'all in the early section, like we did a flashback episode. Your tears of hate nourish me. You know what I mean? Like bring it. All it does is bring like-minded people to us. But like, look, man, they're speaking the truth. We got several positive messages, private messages after that. dude,
Yeah.
I'll say it. You know what I mean? I'll call you out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You may not, you don't have to speak up. That's fine. Say something to me. I'll speak up.
Yeah.
Because as long as I do it professionally, I'm in the clear, man. I'm good.
I was kind of against you blocking because I was like, well, they have a freedom to, state their opinion. But like, then I thought about it and you were right. At the end of the day, you were right. No, block their ass because they got nothing good to bring to the conversation.
Hey,
they're just
I got
bringing
the shirt
spew
on.
and hate. Yeah. Yeah. Beat it, dirtbags. So anyways.
Don't be a dirtbag. Just don't be a dirtbag.
Hey, good episode. Unless you got something else that you want to get off your chest. We're good.
No, sir. Chief Coffin, can you please approve us to wear cowboy hats on duty? That'd be great. Thanks.
Does anybody have anything to add?
Sorry, I got a little distracted over here. Some stuff going on.
Did you have to
text
poop?
message.
Oh, I thought you checked out.
sending
You
him
didn't want to be
dirty
part of that
messages.
conversation.
Well, I wasn't going to comment on it, but then my phone started blowing up about some stuff. So nothing to share at this point, but some serious stuff we'll talk about out after happening going down here. And so anyways, just thoughts and prayers for some folks of some things that may be happening here locally. So
T's and P's to those trolls, man. Like they're just that unhappy.
Yeah, it's all good. And that's enough.
And by
That's
the
all
way,
we're giving them.
I talked to my union. We're good. So,
Yeah, of course. They told them to pound sand.
dude, I can't believe they messaged my union.
All right.
What a bunch of
This has been an
losers.
awesome episode. We love you all. Subscribe. Spotify, YouTube is where you can find the magic of the video. Anywhere else, we are on there. Unkie loves you. We love you. Everybody loves you. You're clear. I'm clear. We're all clear.
Hold on. I want to let Brian know this too. Since this episode is going to air before the one we just recorded. Brian, like 2 days after we dropped that EV podcast for this past Friday, we had a Tesla fire, and the guys were on scene for 4 hours. And Rick messaged me a little while ago and said, "Hey man, this thing is you started something. I just had to do an interview with the local news about it. So I'm not saying it's because of the podcast, but we certainly opened some eyes with the EV thing." And Wayne Koval from Channel 6 News here in Richmond has talked to Rick, and they just did an interview. So we're spreading the EV news. So hopefully, like I said in the other one, man, if it saves one house, one person from parking their car in the garage and lighting their garage off in their house, cool, man.
Awesome. Hey, good conversation. Thanks, boys. Love you. Mean it.
Brian, send it.
Thanks.
roll it, GG.
Roll it, Gigi.
Before you leave, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and give these firemen a huge thumbs up. Also, make sure you check out the coolfireman.com for more. Thanks!